I know what it's like to contend with difficult things. I grew up that way. There were many times where I wished more than anything that I could have hid and not had to face people when they knew that just all of my mess was out there for everyone to see, which now we all do on social media. I thought it was so unique back in the 80s. Well, guess what? We're all in that boat. So I want to introduce someone who has really changed my life, and he has been working to change the lives of everyone in our country, regardless of party. He has worked in the Obama administration, the Trump administration, and the Biden administration. Today, the Surgeon General of the United States, Dr. Vivek Murthy, is here.
Good to see you. Look at her doing this.
I'm so happy to see you again.
Me too.
Oh, Vivek.
Yeah.
Dr. Murthy.
You can call me Vivek.
I can? Vivek. Yeah, okay. I'm so passionate about kids and social media. And I don't see any of the companies out there with the regulations that I would hope to see. I see you out there putting warning labels. You're the one leading the charge on raising the awareness that this needs to be taken serious in a way that it was not being taken serious. And why did you make that your mission?
Well, Drew, first of all, thank you for everything you're doing to help raise awareness around this struggle. Give her a hand.
Thank you.
This has become a universal struggle for parents, figuring out how to manage technology and social media for their kids. And in fact, when you look at studies around this, parents cite technology and social media as their top two causes and reasons why they think parenting is so stressful now compared to a generation ago.
Yes.
And here's what we do know now. We're living in the middle of a youth mental health crisis with very high rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide among kids. And it's become clear when you look at the data that social media has become one of the important contributors to that youth mental health crisis. Last year I issued a report on this topic, and we noted that the kids who are spending 3 hours or more on social media a day, they face double the risk of anxiety and depression symptoms. And by the way, the average amount of use is about 5 hours a day among kids. Many parents ask me, hey, if everyone's using this, how could it be harmful? Or if it's free and open for everyone to use, if there were really harms, why wouldn't someone have done something about this? And that is a scary part, is that there are real harms that are accruing to our kids, but it just seems like a normal part of everyday living. And that's part of what we've got to redo our thinking on, is to recognize that as common as this is, there are real harms, and our kids are telling us about these harms. Everywhere I go, kids themselves bring up social media as something that's contributing to their mental health struggles. They talk about the harmful content that they're being exposed to. They talk about the just extraordinary culture of comparison that is accelerated on social media, where you're comparing yourselves not just to thousands of other people, but even to stuff that's not real, to touched up images, and you're constantly feeling worse about yourself. But the third piece that they talk about a lot is how addictive social media is. Nearly a third of adolescents say that they feel addicted to social media, but what they are subject to are these platforms that are designed by the best product engineers in the world with cutting-edge neuroscience, by some of the best resource companies in the world to figure out how to keep you on as long as possible. And so that makes the social media environment particularly dangerous for kids.
What was it when you put out that warning? Because you put yourself out there for warning labels on social media. What was your goal that day, pushing send to your open letter in the New York Times and putting the warning labels on?
Well, quite simply, my goal was to make sure that we protect our kids from the harms of social media. But I also wanted changes made to make social media safer. And that's where I called for a series of policy changes, including reducing the addictive features that we have on these and protecting kids from them, protecting kids from harmful content online, and also making sure that companies are transparent with the data, the information they have about the impact of their platforms on our kids' mental health. Look, the bottom line is that we've got to get parents and kids some help here. What we've done is we've put the entire responsibility
on
the shoulders of parents. And we've said, hey, even though you didn't grow up with this technology, even though it's rapidly evolving, go ahead and manage it. Figure it out somehow. And that's just frankly unfair. So that's where these guardrails really come in, is we've got to make the job easier for parents. We don't, with cars, for example, we don't tell a parent when their kid's about to start driving, we don't say, you know what, go get a car, check out the brakes yourself, test out the frame, make sure it's crash worthy. Make sure, by the way, that the engine it works as well. Make sure everything is okay about the car, and then put your kid in it. And by the way, if you miss something, it's on you. We don't do that. We say cars are complex. Let's put safety standards in place so that as a parent, when you get a car for your kids or put your kid in a car, you know it's been crash tested, it's got seatbelts, it's got airbags, it's safe for your child. That's what we have to do with social media. We can't continue to put it on parents.
So when I've worked really closely with my kids on this. They don't have cell phones. But when my kids' friends come over, I let them play for a while. Their parents allow them to have phones, so I allow it for a little while, and then I go, okay, everybody, here's the phone box. All the kids throw their phones in there, and then I put it away. And these kids are now telling their parents, who are my mom friends, they're like, I kind of like it when she takes the phone away. It just forces me to stop playing on it. And I was so relieved, because you feel nervous as a parent to step in with other children, but it's okay if that's the policy in your home. You can find the balance. And one of the things that made me trust in you so much when I spoke to you, you spoke about when you spend time with people in their hospitals, as the doctor of our country, at the end of their life. And there was a consistent message that seems to come through as people reflect upon what mattered to them. Will you quickly talk about that a little bit?
Well, I started thinking about these lessons that I was getting from patients over the years, and they often open up to you in ways that I find so incredibly enriching, and also it's an incredible honor. And there are a lot of lessons there. And when I think about that, I think about, first of all, what kids feel like they're being pushed to do today. They often say that they're being pushed to be successful, but that the version of success that they're being asked to pursue involves either being famous, getting wealthy, or acquiring power.
I agree.
And if you get all three, wow, you've really made it.
But when you speak to these patients about what mattered to them in their whole time on the planet, what was it?
It was different. What patients always talked about at the end of life, they don't talk about the amount of money in their bank account or the size of their corner office or their accomplishments. They talk about their relationships. They talk about the people they loved, about the people who loved them. You see, in the final analysis, in the final moments of life, when only the most meaningful strands of our existence rise to the surface, it's clear that it's our relationships that truly matter. It's the love that we give and the love that we receive. My hope is that we can teach our kids that, not only through what we say, but also through the lives that we lead. And if we do that, we will give them the foundation that they need for health, for happiness, and for fulfillment.